Hi, friends. My name's Sergeant Host Eric, and this is my presiding officer, Lieutenant Rachel. Welcome back to
The Type Police.
Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type Police, Type Police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's ENTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or Type Police. Well, welcome back to the Type Police, and we've got an important perp pulled over here. Excuse me, it's not normally how we're supposed to handle our firearms quite so haphazardly.
Nope, wouldn't recommend it.
I'm not really used to handling a lot of firearms.
We're just the Type Police.
Well, yeah, we just recently got militarized by some budget increases.
Yes.
Anyhow, we've got a real interesting perp, so let's go ahead and take a look at this very questionable and shady individual. I don't know about this one. Of course, that's why we pulled him over. Claims to be, get this, an ENTP. Likely story, Mr. Glasses Face. Let's see what you have to say.
On like the Android Jeffrey to like do all of this monotonous
SI work, and then I could like come to on the off days and just suddenly be conscious again.
Yeah, if only your brain could switch from ESTP to ENTP. That would solve many problems.
Oh, yes, that would be great.
So my next question for you, Jeffrey, is what are 3 words you would describe ENTPs as?
ENTPs in general. I guess I would say maybe eccentric as one. I think that there's something to, if you think about introverted thinking, for example, as being this somewhat personalized form of logic where you're kind of linking together this daisy chain of ideas that you have this, I don't want to say personal again, but I'm going to personal attachment to, then it can become very like idiosyncratic. But also, I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile. It's just very like, oh, this person has like a very unique way of looking at the world where they have linked together all of these ideas in such a way that only they could. So that would be one thing that I would say. And then I think that ENTPs have, they can be animated. So they have just like a lot of energy. I think I don't have as much energy as like your stereotypical ENTP. I actually thought that I was consume sleep in OP terminology. But I do think many ENTPs are a little more animated, a little more energetic. They kind of come at you with this avalanche of ideas. And then I guess I would say insightful. There's something about that capacity to step outside a little bit of the human experience and to turn things into a more intellectualized map making kind of game where you can see things that maybe other people aren't seeing because they're too entrenched in human experience at times. So I don't know.
Okay. I guess he started to sound a little ENTP there at the end. I hear a lot of description of ENTP and very little being of ENTP.
Right. Again, like, it sounded like he got some information off the internet and could recite back what he read. But I think we should give him more time.
We should give him more time. He says, I always thought I was a bit too introverted to be but Dave and Shan said, well, then right away, okay. Someone needs to bust out the megaphone and you blast it onto blasting mode and blast it. But first they need to get some batteries for it. Anyway, we'll pretend, okay? Because I'm not buying this purported so-called ENTP right off the bat. But let's give him some more time to see what he has to say.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my answer for now.
Yeah, eccentric is a good word because you guys generate a lot of quirky, eccentric possibilities. Like you have all these like thought experiments, and you go to places like not a lot of people go in terms of possibilities, which is really wonderful. It creates very magnificent type of quirky idea creations.
Yeah, for sure. And I just love the entire concept of a thought experiment. That probably explains why I naturally gravitated towards doing philosophy as an undergrad.
That's fantastic to know. It's interesting how you went for philosophy and you described yourself as philosophical. It's like, yeah, your schooling and who you are really
right
together.
And actually, I did a double major, so I did philosophy and then English with a focus on writing. So you can see a little bit more of like the theoretical and the philosophical kind of contending with each other there.
That's really cool. When I went to school, I double majored too. I double majored in marketing and human resources with a minor in philosophy.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Adding the minor in there, what motivated you to do that?
Because philosophy.
I mean, yeah, enough said from my perspective.
It's just a wonderful thing. Yeah. And so my question for you is, what are some core features of ENTPs?
Gosh. Okay, so I've been thinking about this one a little bit, and I think that's a tricky question to answer. One of the philosophers that I might have studied as an undergraduate was Wittgenstein, who famously said, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must remain silent." And so I'm feeling like the more that I learn about typology, the less I feel like I know. And so if you I know that you are also at least somewhat interested in OP. I don't know if that's like your primary lens for looking at the world, but for me, to have all of these new distinctions and binary coins, it makes me feel so resistant to making broad claims about like, well, this is what an ENTP is like generally, here's a core feature. However, that being said, ironically, this lets me segue into what I think is a feature of ENTPs, which is we like to complicate things. We like to inject a little bit of chaos to disrupt these like frameworks that we might think are overly simplifying things. So just in answering that question, I feel like I'm embodying at least that particular trait, that particular feature.
Yeah, ENTPs really like to overcomplicate things because they can poke holes in it and go like, hey, wait, so here, and then try to like what TI is good at is deconstructing. So it's like your idea can be deconstructed here. It can make more sense here. And so NE just likes to overcomplicate things because it's like possibilities. Let's look at it from every angle imaginable.
No, Joyce, no. Just knock it the fuck off right now. That's what I have to say about that. Just knock it the fuck off, okay? Look. I don't even remember what you just said that pissed me off, but it was something. She said something silly about Annie, and he said something silly about it too. Like,
right, like the way he's articulating things, he sounds like he could be an ENTP.
he sounds pretty articulate.
Yes, but then when he says that ENTPs like to create like change and chaos, I don't think it's necessarily something they like, as in it's more of it, just like the change, they are initiators of change.
Well, I mean, if he were actually an ENTP, he probably wouldn't have a very clear self-concept anyway in regards to that, so that wouldn't necessarily be inconsistent with it. Let's give him a little bit more time. There's something he just said right now that really annoyed me. What was it? I have to go back a couple of bits and see what it was.
They like to overcomplicate things because
they right. No. Okay? No. Expert intuitors, ENTPs do not overcomplicate things. You undersmart things. Okay? They're only too complicated for you because you're too dumb to understand them. It is my basic position on whether we overcomplicate shit. Okay? I'm not saying you specifically, Joyce Bang. I'm saying people who think that ENTPs overcomplicate shit are underintelligent in it. Alright. That's what made me mad. No, that's not really relevant. Let's get back to the task at hand. But if we have to beat them with the baton, you got it ready. You got it ready. So
yes.
So then I can go like, hey, wait, so here, and then try to like what TI is good at is deconstructing. So it's like your idea can be deconstructed here. It could make more sense here. And so NE just likes to overcomplicate things because it's like possibilities. Let's look at it from every angle imaginable.
Possibility machine. Yeah. I guess if I had to say, I guess I could say more about maybe extroverted intuition and how I think that creates some core features, or at least the core feature of having like a high need for abstract variety. So just always having various channels open. I'm always trying to consume like in so many different fields, and it's like really irritating and it makes it hard for me to focus, but I'm just like constantly inundating my own brain, and I do it compulsively. So I would say that like how many different bookmarks can I get today, like that I will never revisit? How many different, like I will watch videos on YouTube on like double speed just so I can like have more things churning in my brain. So that would be another. And then I guess there's something to be said for that that dichotomy or that tension between introverted thinking and extroverted feeling that I think, even if it's like, oh, they're a jumper type, I think that regardless, you'll see like this really interesting kind of humanistic logic or humanistic form of thinking where it's like, I'm like the truth matters so much that it might actually be good for humanity and good for like culture and community at large.
That tension and trying to navigate them. I think that's probably a pretty consistent ENTP feature.
Are there any other?
Just to remind everybody, there are no such thing as jumpers. A cognitive function stack, the first two functions define the nature and relationship of how you pay attention to those other things that we call cognitive functions. So in other words, extroverted intuition dominant is the same thing as introverted intuition fifth, is the same thing as extroverted sensing eighth, is the same thing as introverted sensing fourth. And this is the sort of thing that precludes there from being anything like a jumper, okay? So this guy is probably an INTP, is what I'm thinking. I don't think he's an ENTP. But I do think he's probably TINE. And the reason I don't think he's an ENTP is, while I do a lot of rabbit holing and researching and stuff, and end up with a bunch of tabs or whatever, it is not a value in and of itself for me. It just sort of happens. I don't like researching particularly. I like making shit up. So,
much more of a creator.
I mean, I think he's an INTP. Is there enough evidence to throw him into the slammer, though?
I don't think he's an ENTP.
He's not an ENTP, is it? I mean, that's all we need to know. I mean,
all.
okay, sorry, bro, you're going to the slammer. It's not really your fault. You got mixed up with some really shady drug dealers who are dealing, like, drugs that are mostly, like, baking soda and just a little teeny bit of drugs. So, you're going to be wrong about drugs, but come over to the proper typology channel and where we do the good drugs. And this is a metaphor in this case for the truth, you see. It's a metaphor for the truth. Anyway, you're in jail though, so you can't come over right now. When you get out of jail, all right, let's pull up your closing cell doors and say goodnight. And as always, you are entitled to as much bread and water as you'd like.
And you came close, you know, having any as your second.
I was going to let you go, but Dom right there said, hey, he's not an ENTP. All right, that does win the point. You know?
I hate to.
I'm glad, Rachel. I'm glad you said, no, I'm not tolerating this bullshit any longer, Eric. Okay, so here you go. Yeah, you're locked away now, forever. Well, not forever, just till
No,
your
not
trial
forever.
date. You are guaranteed a speedy trial. As for who the jury and judge are, I don't know, it's not my department. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Type please.
Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's my ENTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or type police. Thanks for watching.